Hello and welcome back to Blue Flag Bandits, the series that drives F1's worst car since 2010, so you don't have to, in the often pretty desperate hunt for points. And it's round 4 of the 2016 season, the Russian Grand Prix from the Sochi Autodrome. Yes, we're back on this weird street circuit type thing that winds around the Winter Olympic Park, and you join us off the back of a points finish in the last round in China. We've shown flashes of promise, both at Australia and Bahrain, but managed to get involved in incidents with our past selves, Jenson Button, and didn't manage to pick up points that I think we possibly could have in both those races. Not so in China, though. We drove well, we drove clean, and we came home to pick up 6 valuable points. And Russia is a circuit that we've done twice, in 14 and 15, and in 14 struggled but looked good for points until a silly mistake coming into the pits, and then last season in the McLaren qualified 6th, finished 6th. It's a circuit that I actually don't mind driving. Kind of reminds me of Valencia insofar as the races for the most part were fairly boring in real life, and it's a flat kind of featureless circuit for the most part, but getting behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car and driving it, a lot of fun. And we come into this, like I say, after 6 points in the last round, and as you can see, drawing with Pascal Wehrlein, just 3 points before this rivalry is complete. One of us, we should do it in qualifying. But standings-wise, Lewis Hamilton leads the way by 2 points ahead of Max Verstappen. That battle starting early. Nico Rosberg had a bad start to the season, but has come back in his 3rd ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Button up there in 5th after a really solid start to his campaign. Raikkonen 6th ahead of Hülkenberg and Perez. Vettel down in 9th. Felipe Massa is 10th. Ricciardo down in 11th. Red Bull not having the rub of the green for him at least. Sainz in 12th. Ahead of Kvyat, there we are, 14th spot, 2 points behind the Toro Rossos, 2 clear of our former teammate Fernando Alonso, 4 clear of Kevin Magnussen. Jolyon Palmer, Felipe Nasr, Pascal Wehrlein, Marcus Ericsson, Gutierrez and Grosjean yet to get off the mark, although those Haas cars you feel probably will at some stage or another. In the Constructors, Mercedes lead the way, 27 clear of Red Bull, Williams are in 3rd, Ferrari 4th, McLaren should I say, in 5th ahead of Force India Toro Rosso. There we are ahead of Renault, Sauber and Haas. And as I say, Sochi may be quite dull to watch, but actually quite fun to drive. And this car does seem to have a bit of promise. Like I say, we looked good in Australia and looked good in Bahrain in terms of the ability to score points, potentially. And then we've had clashes with Button, and we just kind of kept it clean to try and survive China, and we came out of it with points. So it does show this car has a bit more promise than I expected it to, though qualifying has been a bit of a letdown so far this season. We should probably go see how this manor is going to fare around the Autodrome. While we do that, we'll talk about the real world 2016 Russian Grand Prix. Russia hosted round 4 of the season as Sochi found itself settling into a much earlier spot in the calendar. Nico Rosberg arrived with maximum points after his perfect start to the season, while Hamilton was trailing his Mercedes teammate. Slippery conditions greeted the drivers for the first practice session, the track catching out the likes of Hamilton, Vettel, Button and Palmer, all of them finding themselves spinning or running wide. Red Bull ran the aero screen on Ricciardo's opening lap of practice to assess it as an alternative to the Halo device Ferrari had tested during pre-season. Rosberg would top the times ahead of Hamilton and Vettel. Conditions in practice 2 continued to catch out drivers as Hamilton once again span, along with Grosjean and both Manners, though things would be worse for Sebastian Vettel, the Ferrari coming to a halt after setting his best time. Hamilton would top the times this time, ahead of Vettel and Rosberg. The final practice would once again see a few drivers struggling with the track conditions, with Hamilton, Rosberg and Grosjean all running wide at turn 13. The same corner caught out Sergio Perez, the Mexican driver having to complete an awkward manoeuvre to get back to the track. Hamilton would top the times with a lap record ahead of Rosberg and Vettel. The Mercedes pair continued to swap fastest lap times in the opening part of qualifying, Hamilton once again lowering lap record pace. At the other end of the grid, both Haas cars managed to get into Q2, relegating both Renaults, who were eliminated with a pair of Mammers and Saubers.
We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
There were also no shocks in Q2, despite Ricciardo having to cope with a broken wing mirror through the session, while Mercedes continued to lower the lap record. Kvyat would just get into Q3 in his Red Bull, eliminating Sainz, Button, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Grosjean and Gutierrez. As Q3 began, it became apparent that Hamilton would not be taking part, the engine in his Mercedes suffering a hybrid failure. With Vettel also knowing that he would be taking a grid penalty for a gearbox change, it left a simple cruise to pole for Nico Rosberg. The German was 6/10 clear of Vettel by session's end, with Bottas, Raikkonen, Massa, Ricardo, Perez, Kvyat, Verstappen and Hamilton completing that top 10. After a long hold on the lights, the grid got away and headed down to the tight turn 2, where things would take a turn for a number of drivers. Hamilton had already got a poor start, but he managed to move to the racing line, something he'd be thankful for shortly after. Daniel Kvyat would misjudge his braking into turn 2, the Red Bull torpedoing into Vettel, who in turn collected Kvyat's teammate Ricciardo, who in turn collected Sergio Perez, the field scattering across the runoff. Vettel would slow, possibly nursing a puncture, and he would find himself in the barriers not long after, as Kvyat bundled into the back of the Ferrari. Hamilton would manage to avoid being launched by Kvyat and did manage to get by Verstappen and Perez in the next couple of corners. That wouldn't be all the chaos at turn 2, as Gutierrez also arrived on the scene too quickly, eliminating Hülkenberg and Haryanto on the spot. The VSC was deployed before the actual safety car trundled out the pits, both Red Bulls and Gutierrez, heading in for repairs. It was only 3 laps behind the safety car before everybody got going again, both Bottas and Hamilton lining Raikkonen and Massa respectively off the restart, a 3-way fight for second developing as Hamilton bore down on the finish continuing ahead. Rosberg began to pull away while his teammate would be in no mood to hang around. Raikkonen looked to make a move on Bottas, but perhaps remembering what happened here in 2015 backed out, understeering wide, allowing the Mercedes of Hamilton through. Bottas would be the first of the trio to cut on lap 16, prompting Hamilton to follow in a lap later. The Williams would manage to get out ahead of Hamilton, but it would only be a couple of laps before Lewis went for a move, Bottas running wide and sealing the position. Bottas would then struggle to get past Alonso, and he'd lost 2 seconds to Raikkonen, giving the Ferrari the final podium spot. Hamilton would only make small inroads into Rosberg's lead, but it would be in vain, as Bono radioed Hamilton to let him know there was a water pressure problem, with Mercedes having to back off. Nico Rosberg would lead the field home, making it 4 out of 4 for 2016, while Hamilton would make it home in second. Raikkonen would complete the podium, while Bottas, Massa, Alonso, Magnussen, Grosjean, Perez and Button would complete the points. How's our pace looking as we arrive at Sochi? As dull as this place could be to watch, I found this pretty fun to drive, and we've had decent pace here in the previous 2 seasons, even in that Caterham back in 14. However, qualifying has been our weakness so far this season. For the 4th time this year, I think Q1 will be our limit, but I'd like to think that we can make ourselves large in the mirrors of at least one of the Renaults or the Haas cars just up ahead. So let's aim for 19th place. Try to push, maybe a little bit more.
Welcome F1 fans, where qualifying will be starting in the next few minutes as the teams prepare to get out on track at the Sochi Autodrome here in Russia. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Thank you very much. And Crofty, it is Q1 in Russia. Practice is much the same as all of the rest of the season so far, lads. No real pace, and then it all changes in quali. We need to beat Pascal here, and that's me going straight for the jugular, mainly because if we don't, he will probably win the rivalry. And I'd like to be a one-up on the rivalry score this season. This feels like it could be alright for us, but there were a few moments where the rear tried to step out as we were breaking down out of the long kind of back straight area. But as I said at the top, fun circuit to drive, and get it right here, you can have a really good lap. It's probably still going to be a little tricky to get out of Q1, but you know what we do here, we give it our best shot, so let's get out there.
The track is pretty quiet at the moment. Perhaps we should get out there and get a few laps in.
Exactly what I'm about to do, Jeff. Thank you very much. See if we can spring a surprise.
You're lapping slower than Pascal. Pascal is faster.
On close captioning our ping as we start our fastest lap in Q1. Heading down through turn 1, which is just this little drift to the right that the DRS opens as we head down towards the heavy braking of turn number 2. A couple of cars coming out of the pits, but they stay well out of our way. And we get a really nice run through there, yellow flagged out as cars slow down. Doesn't affect us though as we ride to the left through turn number 3. Really getting close to our best lap time. You can see the delta flickering in the top right. A couple of minutes left, we know the pressure is now on, and we have actually just about gone faster in the first sector. Trying to keep it neat and tidy for all these 90-degree right and left-handers, which is mostly what this circuit is, to be honest. Run a little wide there and scrub off a little bit of time. So this run now, through this left-hander, that we really need to get right before flicking to the right for the back straight DRS zone. We are improving on our time, but again, only marginally. Run a little bit wide, but keep power down as we get the DRS open. This final sector is really quite tricky. It's a little bit fiddly to drive through, but you can pick up some good time if you take some liberties with the curbs a bit. We try and straight line that as much as possible, get the car swung to the right and then through to the left, as you can see. Decent run, still not a brilliant improvement. We've lost a lot of time in our final sector on our fastest lap. Take liberties with the curbs, run a little bit wide, and we're in the green as we come to the final double right-hander. On the brakes really nicely there, keeping the car pretty steady through the final corner. It's not enough to get through though, no matter how hard we tried.
If you're not on a flying lap, let the car behind through. He is much faster.
Well, qualifying comes to an end for us in Q1 once again, but as you'll see in a minute, it wasn't too bad a session. Nico Rosberg topping the times ahead of the two Red Bulls of Verstappen and Ricardo Hamilton there in 4th, but the running the soft tyre rather than the super soft. As I said, we're out in Q1. Only just though, as you can see, 18th spot, just shy of 2/10 off Kevin Magnussen. We're knocked out with Palmer Gutierrez. We beat Wehrlein by about 1/10 of a second, and then it's the two Saubers on the back row. That should, I think, mean that we complete the rivalry and win it for beating him, and we hit our team objective as well, which I think is the first time this season for both of those things. So positive at least, but still not quite quick enough to squeeze into Q2, sorry, and we gave everything on that final lap as well. Probably could have maybe pulled another 10th out, but maybe not quite enough to get through. Does mean we're going to be starting near the back in the race once again, but that hasn't stopped us so far. Let's see how we get on in Sochi.
Good afternoon from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. Built on the shores of the Black Sea, the Sochi Autodrome is a 3.6-mile tour around some of the venues built for the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. Close barriers may make overtakes more challenging, but with 56% of the lap taken absolutely flat out, we certainly won't be wanting for pure speed. A fitting arena then to do battle at the pinnacle of motorsport. And alongside me to take you through it all is none other than Anthony Davidson. This was a circuit that I think in its inaugural race got off to a bit of a shaky start, but since then it's really drawn the fans in and become a very popular event. What do you think changed?
Well, this just goes to show the importance of fixing problems as and when you discover them. As a complete unknown quantity in 2014, the tyre choice was quite conservative, which didn't really allow much in terms of different strategy options. So it was pretty much as you were from lights to flag. But that was a great learning experience, and we came back the next year and had a really exciting Grand Prix, with battles for the podium going on all the way to the final lap. So hopefully we'll be treated to more of the same this year.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Rosberg, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Hamilton, Raikkonen, Perez, Massa, and Nico Hülkenberg, Button, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Magnussen. Grosjean, Kvyat, Jolyon Palmer and Amana, Gutierrez and Wehrlein, Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
On the grid then for the Russian Grand Prix of 2016, 18th spot on the grid, which isn't bad actually, to be fair. Like I said, at the end of qualifying, maybe could have gone a tenth or so quicker, but that wouldn't have really made a huge amount of difference. It's going to be a long run down to the real first real heavy braking zone of turn 2. But we have had the legs on some of the likes of the Renaults and the Haas cars and the other manner of Pascal and the Saubers behind us. So we should really have a decent run, I think, down in towards turn 2. There's a lot of room to pass here, apart from in that fiddly last sector. There's a fair amount of runoff in a number of spots and 2 very long straights with DRS. I thought that was going to be our undoing back in China, but that didn't really come to pass, did it? We managed to stick pretty well with the field as we moved forward. We've seen shenanigans in the first couple of corners as well this season with the AI. They are a little bit more aggressive in 2016. A little less kamikaze, just a little bit more aggressive. And we're coming off the back of points, so that's going to be very much a expectation rather than a hope going forward for the rest of this season, because we can do it. This car is capable of it. And as long as we stay clean and keep out of everybody else's way, we can pick up those points. I fear it's going to be tough here though for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel like we might struggle a little bit. So I'm going to be conservative in my estimates. We're going to aim for P12, which doesn't sound conservative, but is, after all, only 6 spots up the road. And with retirements and issues, pit stop strategy playing a part here, we could easily find ourselves in amongst it. But points might just be a little bit out of reach today. Going to be tough for us, but this car is capable, I think, of pulling off a decent result. We've already seen that in the opening 3. Let's try and do it again. So let's get the 5 red lights on and out again for the 2016 Russian Grand Prix. The lights are coming on. We're on to the 5th one. Held for a while here, and away we go at Russia. Kvyat doesn't move off the line. Easily past the Russian. Wehrlein's gone by him as well. Pascal actually having a look to my inside. I've got to be really careful there. And one move, lost it immediately. Wehrlein's still on the inside here as we break down into 2. Collided there with Grosjean, who kept his car on the inside, lost ground, but still somehow made a place. Thought I'd given Grosjean enough room there, but we get away with it. Yellow's out again. Pascal up ahead of us. There too. Frantic. Opening a couple of corners. And the lap's still not over yet as we barge our way past Jolyon Palmer. Behind Pascal now. Try and use the slipstream to our advantage here. Pascal giving me a squeeze. We're past him. Up to the 15th. Late on the brakes. Little tap with Fernando. Oh, I think he's off. I think I might have punted Fernando Alonso into this Grand Prix, or at least given him damage. We're up to 14th though. Didn't feel like that was too much of a nudge, to be honest. Wheel-to-wheel contact. Hamilton, from 6th on the grid, has taken the lead of the race. We cross the line P14, Pascal right in behind us. And the slipstream of Carlos Sainz here as well. We seem to have pace on the Toro Rosso. On the harder tyre as well. Easy overtake on the smooth operator. As we've got Massa, Hulkenberg, Button and Magnussen ahead of us. In their own battle.
Okay, some information on NASA. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Massa slowing down at the back. Button just forced his way past Hulkenberg into the top 10. But it has slowed them all up and we're able to close. We can stick with them in the slipstream down towards 2. Worked very well against Carlos Sainz a few laps ago.
DRS is now available.
DRS. Magnussen looks to move past Hulkenberg. There's a yellow flag out again. Now you're really having their own battles as Magnussen and Hulkenberg go side by side. Future teammates, of course, but we passed them both on the inside of 3, up to 11th. We immediately run wide, but we're up to 11th.
There's a small amount of damage to Pascal's front wing. Doesn't seem to be causing many problems.
Right with us as we get into the DRS zone. There's a bit of a train of cars up ahead. Hamilton seems to have just disappeared as Magnussen gives us a nudge. The inside of the Renault though. Hold the position as they are closing on the queue a little bit. Wide there. We're now starting to head up our own little train. Magnussen, Hulkenberg and Sainz. Magnussen will have DRS. Huge amount we can do here. We will slot back in behind the Dane and then try and outbrake him. There was a tiny bit of contact, but we do hold position still. You can see there's still that real big train up ahead. All on the softer tyre. We'll be pitting in earlier than us. A lap, another K-Mag attack. We'll once again stay to the inside when we get to that corner. Does manage to just about get in front of us, and then we can outbrake him on the inside going into the next corner. Just to keep hold of 11th. Outside of the points, but not far away from them. Seen retirement, so you can see there are 3 cars way off at the back who all had instance, one of them with me, there I will admit. Pascal's also been in for damage. Poor middle sector there, Magnussen is going to be all over us, as is Sainz, who's there now as well. Massa's been passed by Button, Sainz will go through. He's going to try and go around the outside of Magnussen. We'll make it 3 wide and get back up the inside. Sainz, Magnussen and Hulkenberg all battle amongst each other. Absolutely get that corner wrong. Hamilton in the lead, I think way in front as well. Didn't win our 2015, Rosberg did. Looking to regain that championship that he lost.
0.7 seconds.
Felipe Nasr retires. It's got the yellow flag on the mini-map. Looks like his engine is gone and it's the safety car.
The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
It's in a dangerous location, so safety car deployed. Not for the first time this season. Do we have anybody heading into the pits this time round? It does look like our leader is in. In fact, yeah, a lot of cars coming in, so yeah, we're going to box, pop the mediums on and make it to the end of this race. I was going to say I get jumped by sights because we ghost into the pits, but I wasn't going to take advantage like I did in the last race on Massa, but we managed to not lose out to sights in the end. However, going to get held a little bit in the pits. We do lose out to sights and I think Magnussen as well.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
There it is. Safety car, so we're not going to lose out too badly. Everybody else on the soft, but on the mediums. We should be able to end the race on these as we nearly go into the back of sights. AI and safety cars in 2016 a little bit ropey. Full clutch of cars in the pits, so we'll gain. We'll go back to where we were, back up to 11th. Rosberg though behind us now. Lost out to K-Mag and Sainz. We would have been up in 9th.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember there is no overtaking until the first safety car line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Safety car is coming in now. Hulkenberg behind us, Rosberg there as well though. It's going to be a bit of a fast moving target to try and defend against. Maybe we can make moves early though. The buttons up there with Massa.
Okay, some information on Kvyat. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
We're opportunistic and we're through on Sainz as the green flags fly and through we go into P10. Hulkenberg going side by side down towards turn number 2.
0.6 seconds.
Busy fighting each other, gives me a little bit of breathing room. Can we catch Magnussen ahead? Hulkenberg with the slipstream, he's going to squeeze to the inside. He will make it. That button, Ericsson up there fighting. That's held everybody up. We're right up behind Magnussen now. Get that corner all wrong. I wonder if Ericsson stay out as well. Oh, a little nudge on Kevin Magnussen. We'll make it through on the Renault, so we're up to 9th.
So the gap to our teammate is 2.4 seconds.
That's a should make light work of the Sabre. We should also be able to catch up to the Swede fairly quickly, keeping an eye though on where Magnussen is, because that Renault is a little bit quicker than we are. Oh, a little tap on Ericsson, but we do make it through round the outside. We're up to P8. Yeah, well, we're on the slower tyre. And goes for a lunge. We have to get in the space a little bit there, but back out eventually. Ericsson, Magnussen, Hulkenberg. We're going to be in the middle of 3. Or are we? No, Ericsson backs out of it. We'll stay to the inside of K-Mag. Hold P8 for now. Ericsson's going backwards. Ericsson and Hulkenberg will both have DRS up here. Down to 10th. Do we dare go for a move? I thought about it. They're both fighting. I'm trying to give them space. We switch to the inside here. We give Hulk a nudge. Actually then nudges Magnussen. We're back through on one of them. Sainz is there now. Ericsson has been passed. Rosberg hasn't come past us yet as we try and go around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg at the penultimate corner. And then at the final corner, and it works. Back into P8 for now. I wasn't behind at the detection line annoyingly though, so Hulk will get the DRS. We'll go back through. Here comes Magnussen. On the brakes up the inside at 2, and once again back through on Hulkenberg. We're going to be spending a lot of this race defending now. Has going to the medium tyres been an inspired call, or is it going to be a bungled call? We have a massive train behind us. Hulkenberg gives us a nudge. He's zonted. But we hold them off. Hulk blocks up, goes wide. Behind there, I think. Again, Magnussen and Hulkenberg go by in the DRS zone, and once again we break them into the next corner and get our 8th place back. As we haven't seen Nico Rosberg yet. Taking every liberty I can with some of those corners to just try and take a little bit of space out. Running behind.
Okay, gap ahead is 12.1
There's contact.
seconds.
Magnussen looks for an inside move. There's contact and there's a yellow flag. Magnussen's gone round. Hulkenberg made it through. And they have lost a bit of time though. They've left K-Mag the space there. First time that's happened this season, probably won't be the last either. I think we had an instant with Raikkonen, maybe in the last round. A couple actually. Hulkenberg much faster off that corner, and he is through. Do we go for a late move on him? We do. There's a little bit of contact. Wheel to wheel, but we're through. Back into 8th. Ericsson, the man in 10th at the moment. Sauber could be on for their first point of the season. Pretty sure he's still got Nico Rosberg behind him. Goes Hulk again. Through he goes. Once again, they're going to just try and squeak him out of the way, and we do. Carlos Sainz now the man in 10th, so Sauber's fight for their first points of the season may still go on. There's still quite a bit of time left in this race. It's bounced off the wall, fortunately wheel first. Damage. There's quite a ding-dong battle up at the front.
The gap to teammate is 2.8 seconds.
Still only about 2 seconds behind me. I didn't get across enough there to defend from Hulkenberg. He has the inside into 2. He'll sweep right the outside though, and we'll have the inside into 3. Force India off his stride, and Sainz goes through. Oh, and there's yellow flags out again.
VSC deployed.
The VSC, Bottas is out.
Deployed. We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down, maintain a positive delta. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a
Here's
penalty.
ending.
Slow your pace immediately. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
Our pace pretty well there. Enough to not be too caught out by it, I don't think. Grosjean now up in 11th spot. Haas also without points this season, so they're looking to pick up their first here. Rosberg still behind us. Don't know what's going on with our reigning 2015 champion. Another Nico Hülkenberg pass. Oh, I got a bit late on the brakes there. Maybe left off them a little bit too much. There's somebody else. There's 8 yellow flags. I think that was Grosjean. He's out, or he's picked up damage, I think. I think he's moving again. It does look like he is. Now Nico Rosberg is in 11th and right behind myself, Hülkenberg and Sainz. Back enough fuel to be able to maybe have a lap or two at maximum attack at the end, as Sainz is looking, Rosberg's looking, Sainz into the wall, and that's it. We're out in Russia.
Are you alright?
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
What a terrible way to end the Russian Grand Prix. We are eliminated by Carlos Sainz with just a few laps to go, and I think we were on for points. Or at least we were going to be fighting with the points runners just as we were getting into the tail end of the race. Went across to defend, and it's F1 2016 things. You get caught on the car behind, and that's it, you just pushed. And we were pushed into the wall, ripped off a wheel. It's only our third DNF, 2 DNQs. Not DNQs, sorry, DSQs, and 3 DNFs in this series now. And, well, they could become more frequent as the seasons go on, but Kimi Räikkönen takes the win. Half a second ahead of Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen in 3rd, Button 4th, Alonso 5th, great result for McLaren, Perez in 6th ahead of Massa, Rosberg recovers to 8th, Ricciardo 9th, Vettel in 10th. Nico Hülkenberg remained 11th in the end ahead of Magnussen and Palmer. There's Ericsson. Wehrlein finishes 15th ahead of Gutierrez and Kvyat. Grosjean did keep going, as did Carlos Sainz. We are eliminated with Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Nasr. Drivers' standings wise, there's a 5-point gap now for Lewis Hamilton. He extends by 3, but Kimi Räikkönen shoots up into 3rd ahead of Nico Rosberg. Jenson Button's 5th ahead of Bottas. Then it's Perez, Massa, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Vettel and Ricciardo. Sainz is in 13th ahead of Kvyat. We slip to 15th now, just a couple of points still behind the Toro Rosso pair, ahead of Kevin Magnussen, Palmer, Nasr, Wehrlein, Ericsson, Gutierrez and Grosjean still yet to score. While in the constructors, Mercedes lead the way by 32, Red Bull are 2nd, Ferrari move into 3rd, 8 points clear now of Williams, McLaren stay 5th, Force India stay 6th, Toro Rosso stay 7th, we stay 8th, ahead of Renault, while Sauber and Haas are yet to score, and that is disappointing. We were so close. In fact, I think we were probably spot on 4 points. We were holding the guys behind us off. Rosberg may have jumped us in the end, you feel, but Sainz, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, we were keeping them behind, and I think defending well, and points have gone begging for the 3rd time this season thanks to contact. And like I said, I don't even think I was that OTT in my defence. It was just an unfortunate incident that happens in F1 2016, just the way the game is. So close to the end of the race though as well. Disappointing. We're going to have to come back strong though, because it's going to be Spain next. I can take the positives once again, much like the first 2 rounds of this season, that yeah, we do have the pace to fight. Yes, we're being helped out a little bit by safety cars, and maybe our strategy call there wasn't the best, but it was working for us. And that really is what matters. But hopefully you enjoyed it. I did enjoy the battling up to that point. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I shall see you for the next one at Barcelona. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.